Are we going live?
Jay.
Hey, yeah.
Huh?
The revenue doctor.
That's right, son. You come see me, man. I hear your bank account, boy.
Oh man.
I like this though. I want to interview entrepreneurs like what we were planning to do before the pandemic broke out. I can do it right here with this.
Yeah, I'm gonna interview you, son.
All right, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. It's your boy Will Motivation. We also have Dante Lee, the revenue doctor.
What up, y'all?
He's gonna help me get my revenue cured and healed. Yeah, man. Welcome to the live stream. So we got about 50 people in here. Hit the thumbs up. First things first. If you guys appreciate the content, hit the thumbs up for your boy Will Motivation. That way, more people will get notified of this live stream. But let me go ahead and introduce my special guest tonight before we get into the meat and potatoes of the evening, which will be, I'm going to show you guys exactly how much money I have made on YouTube since the beginning of time. And there's no other more appropriate person to have on this live stream than my partner, Dante Lee. I'll give you guys a history of our relationship. But we're going to get into the numbers. We're going to get into the numbers real quick. So everybody hit that like button for me. So far, I'm seeing like only a couple of likes. Well, that's probably from Facebook. But all right, let me introduce Dante, the revenue doctor. I'll let you introduce yourself, man. I don't want to do all the talking.
I mean, yeah, we go back 20 years, man. You know what I'm saying? 20 years, literally. We met over the phone. Then I moved to Ohio. Him set up our companies, and then we realized that we were better together than we were apart. So we like formed a partnership. So you was working on HBCU Connect, which is still the #1 online platform out there for the HBCU audience. I was working at the time on building blacknews.com and blackpr.com. We both have exploded in our own directions since then, but we still maintain the tight friendship, partnership, still talk, still get some deals together, still make money together every now and then. So that's what we've been doing for the last 20 years. We've seen people come and go, but we still here. I was in college, right? Wasn't I 19? I was 19 years old when I met you, bro.
I'm gonna tell y'all the story. I'm gonna tell y'all the story how Dante and I met, but so I'm gonna leave this video up. So what I have to do is I got to get right to the point to show people the money that like what the title of this video is, how much money I make on YouTube, and then we can chop it up, let them get to know you a little bit better, know our relationship a little bit better. But I figure what would be cool, since you're on here, I know you're going to have some questions about my YouTube revenue. So just ask me like you would ask me if, you know, it was just me and you. But then if you see anything in the comments, like any interesting questions in the comments, you can interrupt me with whatever you see. How's that?
That's good. Plus, man, this is good because people need to know right now. Everybody's, you know, there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there who got to pivot. They got to change up a little bit and figure out how they can make money. So this is perfect time and it's good information. So any questions I ask is going to be like stuff too that I think people might want to know who are out there.
My man, Dante Lee.
Yeah, ready, son.
Why don't you tell them how you make money? Some of your primary, your top 3 revenue streams.
Google is my #1 client, has been my #1 client for the last 20 years. I make most of my revenue from Google AdSense, just building content-driven websites and pushing traffic to them, as much traffic as possible, and then making money from the ads. Second way is I have this press release distribution service called blackpr.com, which disseminates press releases to all the Black newspapers, magazines.
Where's the idea like that from?
all of that. Actually, yeah, you gave me that idea, man. That's we built. That's I'm telling you, man. History. We built that, bro. That was definitely you were definitely part of that. Plus, I got other, there's video ads that are on my sites, and there's other like what do they call them things? Content ads or native ads. They call them native ads, where you got people pushing their content on top of your content, but they'll pay you for it. So yeah, that's how I make my revenue. And then I've done other stuff, selling books. I've had at least 3 selling books, but I've written 26 books in total. So it's crazy. I mean, we could go on about how we made money over the last 20 years, but let's get to how you're making money off of YouTube, son. Because even I YouTube, yeah, I ain't making no money off YouTube.
Just to clarify for the audience, have you made 7 figures in revenue from your businesses?
Me? Yes. Yeah. Oh, come on, bro. I thought you were the audience.
He said, me?
I thought you
were multi-million-dollar revenue generator helping me out with this live stream. But what I'm doing right now is I'm pulling up my revenue so that you guys can see it. So I'm going to share it on the screen.
I even want to see this.
Nah,
I know you do video.
Yeah, all my secrets,
but I don't know how much, and I don't even know how you're doing it. So this is schooling me as well.
Well, all right, here we go. Let me bring up my YouTube revenue, and I'm gonna show you guys in real time. Here we go. Let me get my screen sharing in here.
I'll school him. While you doing it, I'll school him a little bit. Will's been trying to get me to do YouTube videos probably about a year or two now. And I do videos on Facebook just to kind of build a repertoire with my audience and like encourage my audience to do business with me. But I'm not making money from those videos directly. It's more of a reputation type thing. But what he's doing, what he's about to show us, is how he's directly making money from YouTube because he's getting paid on the ads, which everybody knows YouTube is owned by Google. Google runs AdSense. They also put in ads on your videos when you put them up on YouTube, especially when you get views.
All right.
So what we got.
Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
Now, I was saying, you tell us what we got. I see something on the screen.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
All right. So first of all, let me show you guys. Well, okay, you can see right here. This number right here. This is lifetime revenue off of YouTube. I started making money right around 2017. Okay, that's when I started actually making money. So I've been making money on YouTube for like 3 years roughly, right? So what I want to show people is that a lot of people think the reason why I do YouTube is to make money off of ad revenue. But in reality, man, I do YouTube as a give back. For me, it's a give back. I do make revenue. It's a revenue stream. Like this little bit of money that I made right here. That's how much money I made off of YouTube. It's not a lot. I mean, relatively speaking. Now, if I was a kid in high school or a college student, and I generated this much revenue off of 3 years of YouTube, that would have pretty much paid for my college tuition when I went.
Oh yeah, and you could have bought a car with that.
Right, I could have bought a car. So it's not a little bit of money from that perspective, but in the perspective, which I'll show you guys later, of how much money I make with my other business endeavors. I'll give you guys like a glimpse into how little the revenue is compared to some of the other things I'm doing, which I think will help people see the reason why I do YouTube is to give back, man. To basically share knowledge and help people. Now, there's a long-term play with YouTube where you can potentially make a lot of money. Like there's big YouTubers like the Stradman and there's a lot of them. Mr. Beast.
So like Stradman and those guys, how much money do they make off YouTube?
I mean, they're probably making they're probably making close. Stradman probably makes close to, I would say, 700,000 or so,
A
somewhere around.
year.
Yeah, a year,
Wow.
probably something like that. Maybe 5 to 700,000 off of YouTube. But then the other thing is, as a
Endorsement.
result, right, as a result of having YouTube, you can make money with other things. So for those of you guys that tuned in because you want to see how much money Will Motivation makes off of YouTube, it is not a lot. I do YouTube as a passion project. I've only made 30 grand over 3 years.
But let me say this though. Let me say this because you're right. I know about your other business endeavors already, and I'll let you explain that. But $30,000, if you're that's over 3 years, right? Because you started in 2017. It's 2020.
Right.
That's a lot, bro. Especially if you're thinking about you got viewers in other countries. You know what I'm saying? That might not even barely be making 5,000 a year.
Right.
30,000 in 3 years, that's a lot. And even for somebody in the US, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty much an average of 10,000 a year. Even if you're looking at supplemental income, that's a lot.
True. And here, let me show another thing. Like, I'm gonna sort this by well, it's already pretty much sorted by. It's pretty much sorted by revenue right now. So these are some of my most popular videos. So the video that most people know me by is this monthly payment on a Lamborghini. That video made roughly $3,000. Now the cool thing about this is that day when I made this video, literally, I was sitting on my couch getting ready to watch Dallas Cowboys football game on a Sunday. And I was like, no, what kind of video can I make that hasn't been made already with all these people doing videos on Lamborghinis and stuff like that? What kind of video can I make that hasn't been made already that would be interesting to people that never had a Lamborghini or maybe didn't want to have one or something like that, right? So I was sitting there on my couch. I was like, you know what I should tell people what my actual monthly payment is on my Lamborghini. So I went in my garage, bro, and I sat down, and that picture right there, you see that little picture?
Yeah.
I sat right in front of my car with a Samsung cell phone and recorded that video for 7 minutes.
And that was just spur of the moment?
And there's no editing.
Wow.
Spur of the moment, no editing. And I published it the same day that I was watching the football game on my phone.
And that's your number one most popular video of all time.
Number one most popular video, unedited. It didn't have any trailer on it. It didn't have any intro commercial on it or anything. That's my number one highest grossing video and my number one most popular video. And it's the video that everybody, when they see me like at car shows and stuff, they say this is mostly where they found me from. And I think this video got me the most subscribers.
And so, you got, is it 1 million views? Is that what it says? 1.1 million views? For that
it got, yeah, 1.128 million views on that video. That took 7 minutes of my life.
That's crazy because it was so raw. Like it was, like you said, it was your first video, first time, no edit, no intro, and that's your most successful video of all time.
The second most successful video was a video sitting in my garage talking about how to invest $7,000 and turn that into $100,000 using real estate. Sitting in my garage, probably slight editing, but that video made $842. This credit score video was interesting because let me see if I can. They're not letting me sort based on what I want. Yeah, I would like to show you the CPM, but so you want to explain to people what CPM is, Dr. Revenue?
CPM is cost per mil. It basically means the revenue that you're making every 1,000 times the video is shown. If you're dealing with ads, it's the same thing. It's how much money you would make every 1,000 times that ad was shown.
So I'm looking for the biggest CPM. So basically, the video that earned the most per 1,000 times it was viewed, and it looks like it's this one right here.
Hood Rich.
How to invest in inner city real estate. So for every 1,000 times it was viewed, it made 30 bucks.
For those that don't know, that's extremely high. Like CPM can be as low as $1. It can be, I mean, sometimes I have advertisers that come to me and want to pay me $1 or two CPM.
Yeah.
So $30 CPM, that's extremely well. But on average, all your videos, you're making $8 CPM. That's still extremely high because like I get offered by advertisers, and I'm not doing videos, I'm just doing content. Some of these guys only want to pay $5 CPM or less. But even with that, you're still killing it.
All right, so let's get a little bit more interesting with this video because I want to give people a perspective. So people are wondering how much money I make on YouTube over a 3-year period, $30,000 roughly. So averages out to about 10 grand a year. If you look at the last 365 days, which is like the last year, so revenue went up on average for the last year. I made $14,000 off of YouTube over the last.
You pretty much made half your revenue in the last year.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting, right?
Right.
So, but if I show you something, if I show you, let me go back to my video list. This is what people don't understand. Like I do YouTube for the fun of it and to just give back knowledge and stuff. Look at all of these videos that don't get revenue. Look.
Why are those ineligible for revenue?
Usually because I use some music that's popular. Like these videos have that coronavirus Cardi B song in them.
Yeah.
So the coronavirus, they got copyrighted after it went up on iTunes.
Right,
so
right.
I don't make any money off of these red videos. Look, this one, that one. I actually had one video, man, that had a live stream that almost had it had almost, it was either almost 1 million people came to my live stream or 100,000. I think it was almost 1 million people on the live stream, bro. And it didn't get monetized.
Because why?
Because I'm a hustler.
You had music playing?
I had the Floyd Mayweather fight going on in the background.
Are you serious?
They called copyright on me. Even though I wasn't really showing the fight, man. I was showing my fight party. But like a lot of my videos, my point is a lot of my videos don't get they don't get monetized. A lot of these were. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't care so much about YouTube revenue at this point because I make most of my revenue comes from my other 2 or 3 businesses. YouTube is part of one of those businesses.
Pocket change. This is pocket change right here.
Yeah, so like it's not even a tenth. I mean, it's not even a tenth. It's not even a tenth of the annual revenue. You know what I'm saying? So, but let me show. I mean, not even. I don't even know. It's barely like. I don't want to say how much money I make every year.
What you said it's not even.
Let me show you. I'll give you an example. Like I'll show you guys. I'll give people an idea. First, let me bring you back. Let me bring you back to the forefront here. You see any questions? Does anybody have any questions so far before I move on to the real estate revenue?
I don't see no questions. Oh, somebody said, how do they tax YouTube? What does that mean?
Oh, you get taxed. Oh, okay, so if I've got $14,000 put in my bank account, when I go to do my annual taxes, I have to claim that revenue, that $14,000 worth of revenue.
Oh, okay, the revenue.
Yeah, I gotta pay taxes on $14,000 worth of revenue minus my expenses.
Don't they say what's that called?
Say that again.
At the end of the year, you get like a form from Google, right? Like a W-9 or something?
You get a 1099.
1099, yeah. I get that too. I get the same thing for Google Ads. And yeah, you just pay it like you normally would. It's just income. You just pay the taxes on it, whatever it is. Somebody says, how often do you post videos?
I post videos 2 to 3 times a week usually. It's usually 2 to 3 times a week.
I think that's reasonable, man. Because if you over posting, if you oversaturating yourself, well, first of all, you gotta save your videos for your best ideas. Don't just post anything, right? And then you got to come up with clever, what you think is going to get good views, what's going to go viral. And then if you are trying to make money from YouTube, then you need to be thinking about that as well. But if you just pushing content out there randomly, people might get tired of you and may not even like click on your next video when a good one comes up. So I think 2 to 3 times a week is reasonable. Makes sense.
So what would you guesstimate my annual real estate revenue to be?
Me, I think
with 20 properties.
20 properties?
Yeah.
You probably making anywhere from 300 to 500,000 a year off that. Something like that.
Nah, I'm not making that much. I ain't making that much. I wish I was though. But the real estate revenue is significant. Like it's in the 6-figure range. Like I want to show this, but you know how things go on the internet and they stay on the internet.
Am I gonna be knocking at your door tomorrow? Like, hey, Will.
But what I can tell people is that the YouTube revenue for the last 12 months was $14,000 roughly, right? The real estate income was more than 10 times what the YouTube revenue is, right? So I'll just tell you guys that much. YouTube revenues, and what I can show people, and they can do the math. I'll show people public knowledge, which is my I'll show people my website real quick. So for those of you guys that like, let's put this YouTube thing into perspective. My next biggest business is the real estate business, and then the next bigger business than that is software, social networking, recruitment business that I have called HBCU Connect. But let me show you guys my real estate business real quick, just so you guys understand. Like when I do YouTube, I'm doing it for you guys. I'm not doing it because I'm trying to get rich. Now, one day if I made money like Stradman, I'll be doing a lot of philanthropy at that point, but we're not quite there. But let me bring up this. Let me bring this up real quick.
I mean, the good thing about, while you bringing that up, I'll just comment on this. The good thing about making YouTube videos is that like you building your brand, like you making people familiar with you. Like you mentioned earlier, you go places and people recognize you. Like that right there positions you to be an authority on certain genres or industries. And yeah, when you launch something, people know who you are. They already got, the trust is already there. And you are that brand, you know what I'm saying? They know your face.
Yeah. Branding is important because then you can parlay into other things. Now, what I will show people is how much money I made off my online course. How about that?
Yeah.
That will show the power of how YouTube can be leveraged to do other business activities at the same time. But what you guys are seeing right here, this is my website, right? These are the properties that I rent out. Now you can see this one property right here. The rent is roughly $2,000 a month. I've had this property on my YouTube channel. It's my new build project. So that's going to rent out for $2,000 a month. That's $24,000 gross per year right there. So one rental property is making way more than what YouTube.
I know. That's
so
crazy.
Just so people don't think I'm that's why I tell people I'm not really a YouTuber. I'm just somebody, and thanks to everybody that has subscribed too, by the way. Gotta get you one of these, man. This is thanks. This is a YouTube 100,000 subscriber.
He got a Grammy. He got a YouTube Grammy, y'all.
We got a Grammy here. Thanks to everybody that has subscribed to my channel. I love and appreciate you guys. I'm gonna hang this up right here behind me on my wall. But I had to say thanks to everybody that subscribed to my channel because I did get my 100,000 subscriber plaque and I just didn't do a video on it yet.
That's a
But
milestone, man. When you think about it, that's
I mean,
a big.
yeah, like I mean, let's keep it real. Like what I do,
100,000 people?
huh?
I said 100,000 people. That's crazy. That's a lot.
Yeah, dude, I'm humbled, bro. Like what I do get out of doing YouTube is not so much the money, it's more the when people tell me that I did a video that helped them in some kind of way. When I get that
Right.
feedback, comments, like it was really eye opening. When I went on that tour, I did the Ace of Spades rally, Ace Spades rally in the Huracan, right?
Mhm.
And everybody that was coming up to me was different. Like people that came up to me, because like there's another popular YouTube channel called Daily Driven Exotics. They were with me on the rally, right?
Mhm.
Everybody that came up to them was kind of treating them like they were getting ready to put on a show. And then after they put on a show and do burnouts and stuff, they want an autograph and a picture, right? But people that came up to
Right.
me, you know, people wanted a picture and I signed a couple of autographs or whatever, but more people were coming up to me just to say thanks and that they
Wow.
appreciate the knowledge that I was sharing. And to me that like was really eye-opening because I do it just because it's in my nature. But then when people, you know, listen to it and they learn something from it and I hear that from them, that means a lot to me. Like that's why I do YouTube. That's like the
That's
biggest pay that I get.
that's one thing I can verify about you, that you're not like greedy. You're not all about the money. You're definitely about helping people and giving back. And that's why
Hey,
me and you been close
why don't you
for
send me that
sure.
deposit?
Now, somebody asked a good question, man. They said, did you promote your YouTube channel in the beginning, or did you get your views organically?
Did I promote it in the beginning? I promoted it a little bit. Like I would spend $100 here and there. Um, yeah. So, and the best way to do it, don't use third part. I mean, I'm not gonna say don't use all third parties like that can drive. They say they can get you views and all that kind of stuff. I don't really think most of those are not any good. The best thing to do if you're going to promote your channel on YouTube, go through YouTube. Like you can advertise through Google. You
Promoted
go
through
to
there, yeah.
Google and you can do video ads. You can promote your videos through Google. And for my most popular video was my first experiment doing that. And I did it a little bit. And I guess Google had enough data to make to for it to feed into their algorithm, and then they blew my video up.
Yeah.
It went crazy. But
That's how you know. Because you're right. What you just said, you should, first of all, if you're going to invest in advertising, you should do it on YouTube, like you just said. But also, you don't have to invest that much before it starts to just organically kick in and exponentially grow. If it's a good video, if it's a good video.
all right, here goes the properties for everybody to see. To put this YouTube thing in perspective, one property makes more than it grosses more than YouTube grosses in a 12-month period. Is one property, and almost all of the rest of them, on average, do too. They make more than each individual one makes more than YouTube. And the other thing is I do flips. So, and my realtor Rich is on here. He can verify this because he sold most of the. I want to say Rich sold all of these properties. So there's a rich realtor on this live stream for getting this commission on all these cribs. we sold and flipped all these houses that are on here, and most of them at one point in time were rental properties, but like all of them sold for. Actually, the first one, this one right here, this one was the cheapest one. This one sold for, I want to say 80,000, and we bought it for like 30,000. I had to pay
Wow.
some tax. This
Most
one
of
right here, huh?
you bought them in the recession, right? Not this current recession or whatever you want to call it, but this
The
was like,
2008 to 2012.
yeah,
Yeah, I bought almost all of them. Not all of them, but almost all of them. Like if you look at some of the more recent ones I sold,
right.
um, I sold them when we were coming out of the recession. Like this one right here, I sold when we was coming out of the recession. Um, uh, yeah, a lot of them. So just to put I just really wanted to show this just to put things into perspective. Now, one thing that I have done that has, and I got to give a shout out to this guy named Tanner Fox. think it's Tanner J. Fox or Tanner Fox. He created a video showing how he makes money with online courses, right? And this dude, now he makes way more with online courses than I do, but he showed me, hey, what's up, Demonology? What's good, brother? I'm showing you how to make a little bit of money on YouTube. You probably make way more than me. How much do you make, Demonology? but
The truth.
but what I was gonna say. So Tanner Fox showed me on his YouTube channel. He showed how he uses YouTube to promote his digital products, which are online courses on how to teach people like Amazon, selling on Amazon, like becoming an Amazon seller. So I was like, man, I could show people how to do, I need to do a course because people kept asking me anyway, like do a course on how to invest in real estate. And after hearing that, like people ask me, do I have a course enough times? I was like, okay, I'm going to take this formula that Tanner Fox came up with. And for those people that are really serious about learning how to invest in real estate, I'll create a course. I'm gonna put my all into it, and it'll be worth whatever I charge. Because I'm not gonna charge that much. It'll just be enough where people, like they got some skin in the game, take it seriously, right? So I'm gonna show you real quick. I'm gonna show you guys real quick. I wanna show. See, I can't show. I don't want to show people's names and stuff. So I'm gonna show you guys real. I'm gonna shrink this window down so you guys can see it real quick. You ready to see my course revenue, man?
Let's do it.
So how much was the YouTube revenue? Let's give them a recap.
So it was like 30,000 for 3. Half of that had been the last 365. Well, about half of that had been made.
In the last year, I made how much?
What was it about? It was about 14,000.
Yeah, 14 G's, right?
Right.
Now, this is the other part of the revenue that comes from YouTube. Okay, you guys ready? Here it is. Whoops. There it is.
Whoa. So you made more from online course than you made from YouTube. But
correct.
Wasn't it the YouTube channel that led to this idea of doing an online course?
That's correct. So people need to realize, like, when you invest time in sharing, eventually there's ways you can get paid back for investing that time in sharing. Now this is going to be like the perfect segue. So let me just make that clear. It was $34,000 that was made so far. I haven't even really promoted it heavily on YouTube and that kind of thing, right? Now, my point though is when you invest in people and you invest in like giving back without worrying about how much money you're going to make, eventually the way for you to make money eventually shows up and then you make money, right? So, and this is a perfect segue to me introducing Dante, who's on this live stream with me, right? So when I started my main business, which is bigger than YouTube and online courses and bigger than real estate, as far as revenue and everything else. When I started that business, I started in 1999. I didn't make any real money until 2002. 2002. I probably made about $8,000 in 2002. Matter of fact, Dante, who's on this live stream with me, you guys are right, like sitting in front. You guys are on a live stream with some serious.
We look great. Yeah.
Like we could tell you guys stories about like the beginning of the internet and the beginning of making money on the internet. As a matter of fact, so I'm gonna give Dante credit, right? And this is another thing that pours into when you create something and you want to give back to people without worrying about how you're going to get paid. Eventually, you get paid back for it. So my point was, I started my .com. I wasn't making any money on it. I was just trying to create a service for a community of people. I created a social network before Facebook, before LinkedIn, before, I mean, MySpace was probably around, and that was it. No, MySpace, I don't even think, MySpace started the same year I started my social network.
It was
So,
Friendster. You remember Friendster? I was
Friendster.
on. Yeah.
And okay, so my point is, I started this site because it was a good idea and it would be something to give back to people, right? I didn't make any money on it for 3 years, but I still did it with a passion and an obsession for it. Then a gentleman by the name of Dante Lee, who was a student at one of the HBCUs, one of the colleges that my website represented, he reached out to me and he asked me if he could advertise on my website, and I gave him my personal phone number. Then he spent like $25 or $75 or something like that, right, to advertise on my
No,
website.
this is exactly 20 years ago. This is exactly about 20 years ago, right? What year was that?
This was probably 2000, probably 99 or
Yeah,
2000.
Yeah,
Probably
there you go.
2000. I know I was working at it was probably 2000. At
Yeah.
the latest.
I was still in college, bro. I was still in college.
So this dude right here was a college student. He found me on my website as the owner of the business. He reached out to me and he wanted to advertise on my website. And I'm like, okay, this dude's a college student. I'm not gonna hit him over the head. I wasn't making any money anyway. I wasn't worried about making any money anyway because I was just building. But I think he came up with $25 or $75. It was one of those two. And he advertised on my website. But I gave him my cell phone number and he started calling me. And when he started calling me, at first I was like, man, I don't know if I got time for this. Like, this dude calling me and stuff like that. But then I started thinking, I was like, well, he's looking for something. He's digging to be successful. And he's looking at me as somebody that could maybe help him be successful, right? So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give him whatever I can give him, and that's just how I'm gonna be with this dude, because I know he's gonna be successful based on the patterns I was seeing that Dante had. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give him whatever I can give him, kind of like knowing he was gonna be Kobe. If I'm Jordan, that's Kobe, right? So me giving
you Kobe. That's all good.
So look, so my point was, I gave what I was trying to do was give you something without worrying about what was going to come back in return. And look what happened. So Dante started experimenting with different things. He was experimenting with me on the web on how to make money, and he was using affiliate ads, and Dante started making some money with his affiliate ads. So this is at the beginning of the internet and making money with affiliate marketing. Stuff like that.
From marketing.
He started making the money. I wasn't really making money with affiliate programs and affiliates ads, right? I wasn't making the money. So when he started making money based on a relationship that him and I had, he came to me and said, you need to try this. He was like, Will, you need, with your website and all the people that you have, you need to try this affiliate stuff. And so I didn't know anything about it. I think the first time I made serious money on my website was with Dante Lee right here. And the way it happened was funny because he showed me the affiliate stuff. I used his affiliate link. So the link that he uses to get paid, I sent that link out for my audience, and it generated about, was it like $5,000 or something like that?
Yeah,
it generated $1,000 in 48 hours, right? So so anyway, all the money went into his account. So I basically, we had a conversation.
I was like, are you making anything? He was like, nah, I don't see nothing.
So this dude was making all the money, right? But I told him what happened. He saw the mistake that I made. And I was like, this is basically going to be a judge of his character on what's going to happen between me and him going forward. But he doesn't have to give me the money. He could just be like, well, sorry, man, try it again or something like that. But we ended up splitting the money. We ended up splitting the money. He put me onto the idea. But that's the first big money that I made with my website, dealing with somebody that I just invested a little bit of time into. And the website, I just invested some time into that. And the money showed up. Like the money came after just trying to provide a good service or do a good act or a good deed. So that kind of leads into how our relationship formed. But why don't you go ahead and segue from there on the entrepreneurship and what happened with your business? Because you was a college student at that point in time, right?
I was a college student, man. That's crazy. 20 years ago. And yeah, when I met you, I called you, as you said, I called you because I wanted to promote what I was doing on your website. I had no idea that you and me were pretty much in the same position, just getting started. To me, I looked at you and your website is already established, already making money. So I reached out, and then yeah, the response that I got from you was exactly what you said. It was like help and advice and mentorship. Um, and we, from that point forward, me and you just kind of fed off of each other's ideas. We realized that like you were iron and I'm iron, and we were sharpening each other, and then we realized it didn't make sense for us not to be working together. So we started doing that, and then we just built it. I mean, and then before long, I was a college student at the time. I was not working at all. If I was, I had a little part-time job because I never actually had a full-time job. I'm always pretty much with myself. But I did have little part-time jobs. You were working full-time at the time, but this way, from the time we first met on that fall, with I would say less than 2 years, both of us were doing this full and making money where we could support ourselves and support our families. And it just took off from there. And that was, again, 20 years ago. And now we're sitting here, we get to sit here and reflect on that. And like you said, do exactly what we did in the beginning, which was share the information with other people, help them so that they can get to it as well. Because it's enough for everybody. Everybody can eat off the internet. The internet has created money, and it's enough. It's enough. You don't have to be greedy. You know what I'm saying? Like there's enough for everybody to eat. And then it's like the internet allows you to be so innovative, man. Like you can pretty much come up. You can do it as you go along. Just come up with whatever makes sense. Like this pandemic. Believe me, there are millionaires being made off this coronavirus pandemic just because they're paying attention to new opportunities, new doors that have opened up, and they're just taking advantage of it. Time out. Time out. Time out.
He's saying that from the safety of Mexico. I was talking about the money off coronavirus stuff until I start coughing. Y'all start coughing. I'm like,
it's all good, bro. I'm already in the face mask business, so I send you your N95 face mask. Don't worry, I got you, bro. I already got my shipment.
Man, for real though, I start coughing. I was like, nah, this is real. This coronavirus is hitting home. I think I might have had it for real. I think I'm better now. Huh?
Bro, I'm gonna get tested too, man. Remember I hit you up and told you.
Yeah, I'm not going to get tested though.
But now, I first was feeling it wasn't quite where it's at now. But yeah, they're saying it's dangerous to even go to a hospital, go to an emergency room. But
so let me tell you what happened next. So Dante was a college student. He graduated from college. Did you move to California? You moved to California first, right?
I moved to California first. That's where I really grew my business within a year.
He never had a 9 to 5. He went straight from college. At what? Yeah. You graduated early too, right?
I did. I graduated from a 4-year college in 3 years because I was taking summer and winter classes because I was passionate about getting this business off the ground, man. I wasn't trying to be on campus stomping. When I graduated?
Yeah.
I was 22. No, let me see.
20, you were probably 20, bro.
21, maybe. I can't remember, bro. But I was younger.
3 years. You was probably 20. At the oldest, he was 21.
Yeah, at the oldest, 21.
Graduated from college, he moved straight out to California and started running his business. How long was you out there before you moved to Columbus?
Exactly 3 years. I was there exactly for 3 years. And then that's when me and you figured out, because all the while, me and you were always in touch. And we were not just being in touch, we were working with each other. And then we were making money together. We were doing deals together. And then I think I came to visit you in Ohio. And then I was like, man, it makes sense for us to be in the same place. Like, for real, we need to join forces. And that's when I moved to Ohio. I stayed for years.
So I met Dante when he was a college student through my website. We did some business together. He started doing his entrepreneurial thing. I was doing mine. He was doing his full time. I still had a 9 to 5. But eventually him and my dad were like, Dante was like, man, you could do it. You should go ahead and quit. And then I was watching him and I was like, yeah, but I got a family, man. I got 2 kids and a wife. I don't know about that.
Yeah,
But I
2
kept
babies.
that's what I wanted to do. And then my dad was like, man, if you're gonna do it, just do it. Like we'll just get out here and grind. And when my dad said that, I was like, okay, I'm quitting. But
Yeah,
all the time we was building our businesses and doing some stuff together. And then Dante came to visit Columbus, and then he actually moved here. He moved from California to Columbus, and I had got an office space, and Dante moved into my office, and he had 2 of the office spaces. I had 2 of them, and then we started hustling, man. That was like 2006, right? 2000 to like I don't know how many years. Probably to like
about 6 years. About 6 years. But honestly, man, that was the best decision I ever made because, like I said, when you find, this is probably good advice for everybody to listen to, right? When you find somebody who's just like you, just as passionate as you, who thinks just like you, is actually a little bit smarter than you, then you need to stick to that person like glue.
Well, it's just different ways. Like I can't say I'm smarter than somebody else, but if somebody knows something in one area more than you might know, and you know something, because like you definitely like on the affiliate marketing stuff, you put me onto that. So it's just like iron sharpens iron, and bringing the knowledge together. Like you find people like that, you got to build.
And I'm gonna say this though, I'm like this: if you're around people that are not smart, if everybody in your circle and you're the smartest one, then you need to create a new circle. Like you should have people in your circle that are taking you to the next level. And that's what I immediately identified about Will. Like, yo, he's like, we're both intelligent. We both are very entrepreneur minded, but like we're literally building on each other like this. And that you can't just do that with anybody. You can't, and you're gonna find a person. And then we talked about this a couple of months ago, right? Well, I was like, dude, have you ever met another person like me that you could build ideas on? And you was like, and I was like, dude, it's been 20 years and I haven't met another person like you either, where I can just be, literally to this day, I'll call them and be like, yo, I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about that. And bam, it's like boom, boom, boom. Or he'll also be realistic with me because you also don't want a hype man. You don't want a yes man. So
no, I'm definitely not that.
Yeah, you get 100% honest with me always. So I'll come out with an idea and I'll be like, yo, I think I want to do this. And you'll be like, yo, here's the holes in that though. And I'll be like, oh, snap. I didn't think about that.
What though? One thing I learned, one thing I knew about you is that I had to let you do certain things. Like I couldn't stop you. I couldn't be so strong with what I saw was wrong with something, because 2 things could happen. For one, I could be wrong and you could do it and then it could blow up. But 2, if you do it, you're the kind of person that you're going to learn from your mistakes and incorporate that into the next do. And I knew that about you. So I wouldn't be like, nah, Dante, don't do that. I would just be like, I'm not in that one. Like I would be like, you might bring it to the table and be like, I'd be like,
nah, but it's true. You're going to make mistakes. As an entrepreneur, you go make mistakes and like you're going to be humbled about it. But like learn from that. Like I don't know of any entrepreneur who didn't make mistakes, even the ones that we all know that are billionaires and famous.
I'm starting to see some good questions and stuff pop up. Check this out. So first of all, a lot of you guys ask me questions all the time, but we got Dante Lee on here. He's one of my best friends. He's like a brother to me. I consider him family, but he's really somebody out here doing big things and making millions of dollars on the internet with just being a hustler and just getting in.
Low key.
So y'all got access to somebody. Y'all have access to somebody who's typically not doing this kind of like live stream stuff, answering real-time questions. So if you have questions for me or Dante, now's your chance to ask them, because this dude, like, tell him about how much money you've made off of Google. You can share your screen too. Pull up your Google
You know
earnings.
what? I ain't prepared, but I can tell you guys right now. Google Ads. I've been running Google Ads for since Google Ads has started, and I made well over $1 million, probably $1.3 million from Google Ads alone.
From
Now,
Google Ads.
Now, when you chop it up, though, you look at it year by year. You know, it wasn't like a huge number, but still, out there, do you know that they can say that they made $1 million off Google Ads? But that's just many forms of revenue that I have. Like there's, like as I mentioned before, man, there's the native ads, there's the video ads. I have my website's people, so I have a bunch of blogs, and
talk about your domains and your website.
That's another thing. So one thing, okay, me and Will, we've always identified this. If you're going to be in a certain space, then you need to go ahead and hustle up and get the best domain name for it. So I have.
You have right now?
How many domains? I have about 200, easily 200.
I probably got about 100, somewhere 100. Like 80 to 100 domain names. So I'm sure everybody knows what a domain name is, but like .com names. And the reason why we get them for different reasons than other people. Some people buy a lot of domains so that they can squat on them, and then somebody will buy the domain off of them. Me and Dante buy domains because we have business ideas for using those domain names. So because we figured out how to monetize, not even like we figured out how to build on those domain names. How did you learn how to develop websites?
Believe it or not, man, my dad had us. I guess when the internet came out, you had people who really realized what it was going to be in the future. And they saw the potential of it. And my dad was one of those people. So he knew the internet was big. He didn't quite understand how big it was, I don't think. But as a kid, my dad would make us learn HTML. And like back then, there was a page called there was a program called Microsoft Front Page. Yeah. And at the time, we used to use that to develop websites. And my dad made us learn how to use Microsoft Front Page. And now I think people use like Dreamweaver. Some people just code it, well, now people using WordPress and all kinds of stuff. And you got a lot of do-it-yourself stuff now. But back then, man, yeah, my dad made us learn HTML, which is probably the easiest programming language to learn. For that reason, it's not really called a programming language. But yeah, my dad had us on that, and we used it. And even back then, I didn't really see or know how it would affect me in the future, how much I would be using it in the future. But now I have about 15 profitable websites. So out of the 200 domains that I just said that I have, 15 of them are fully developed and making money on a monthly basis. And that's a big deal.
These are your domain names that I have. These are all
like you gotta almost kind of be a futurist. You're thinking about stuff that
these are all investments. I probably got more than 100.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking you probably got
I probably got more than 100 domain names.
Yeah.
So like people like this is real. Like people think I'm only about this real estate, real estate stuff. Real estate is great. Like real estate allows me to get into the cars, but there's all kind of other, like, this is why I say I'm a hustler, because I figure out different ways to generate revenue for survival. And like now, like is a perfect example. We're in a crisis right now, right? So this is when hustlers like activate, like Wonder Trends activate, you know what I'm saying? So like now, like this is when that hustle comes into play and why you hustle, so that when you hit one of these slow spots or one of these crises, you can survive. So
and your other ventures kick in.
So there was this question, and I don't know if you remember what I always used to say about this, but the question came from Animated Music. It said, "What can you say about trust and gut feeling in business, or it could even be in friendship?" But I always say, trust your gut in business. You might be wrong on personal stuff because your gut is too close to your heart. But in business, man, I've never made a major business decision where I followed my gut and I was wrong. Like all the time that I follow my gut when it comes to business, ended up being good decisions. So that's my answer to that question, man. Like on trust and gut feeling. The other thing
I
is, go ahead.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I just
So
think, let me, though, I think you should be honest with yourself though. Like if you really, and I wouldn't be taking like major gambles that might, like if you were wrong, like it's going to force you to shut down everything. But just be honest with yourself. Like you know what your skills are, you know what your ability is. I mean, it's almost like being a basketball player on the court, man. Like everybody out there shooting these deep threes right now. You know what I'm saying? That's something that people never did before. I call them 4-point shots. But you
yeah,
do it, then take that shot. You know what I'm saying? You know you got that range, you take it. But if you know you ain't got that range, then don't take that shot.
I'm taking the shot, son.
Because you know you got it. That's
I
what I'm
got
saying.
that range, son. You seen it in your eye. Nah. So trust too, man. Like trust. My thing about trust is when it comes to people, you don't always know. You might have a gut feeling about a person, but I always extend trust to people to a certain extent to see what people are about. You know what I'm saying? Like trust them a little bit. And the biggest thing you got to trust people with when you're an entrepreneur or you're like really about your business is trusting people with your time. That's why
Mm.
like I'm not real big on phone calls. Like when I don't know somebody, I'm not big on getting on the phone with somebody I don't know because I'm giving you my most valuable asset. I'm giving it to you if you get on the phone with me, which is my time. So I'm real hard to trust people with my time, but sometimes you do it. You make an investment in people, and then eventually it pays off if there's trustworthy people. If they're not, then you'll find out.
I never return a phone call. When people leave me a voicemail and don't tell me what they're calling about, I never return that type of phone call because
No,
those
I
type of
don't
people,
either.
yeah, they always seem to be people who
Hey,
just,
hey,
yeah.
this Dante. Hey, Dante, why don't you give me a call? This is Will Rogers. I got this good idea for you.
Yeah, and then I call back and I end up wasting time. And it's not, and like you said, it's all about giving back and helping people. And I mentor, and we both have mentored people through the years. But at the same time, like you said, time is your most valuable asset. And also, time is the one thing that you don't get back. So, I try to be efficient with that. Very, very efficient. Even when I'm mentoring people, you know, because the same thing with you. When I came to you, right, and you mentored me a little bit and kind of gave me the confidence that I needed to take the next step. I wasn't taking up all your time with that. You know what I
No,
mean? I
no,
was I was adding to it. You know what I'm saying? Like you taught me this, bro. You always say you either a plus or a minus. I always remember that. You always say a person is either a plus or a minus.
I ain't gonna tell y'all what we was talking about when that came up.
That's a whole nother episode.
Nah,
But
but that
you
was
either
good.
taking or giving too. And you can be the person being mentored and still be giving value. And I think that's the relationship that I formed with Will. Because when I first reached out to him, he was the mentor and I was the mentee. But at the same time, I was dropping,
Mentoring me.
and it was like, oh yeah, we're a perfect team.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's what I was trying to say is like the first big money I made on my website was from Dante. And so the value that he brought to me was evident in the time that I invested in having these conversations with him. And like I said, like he said, it was iron sharpening iron. Um, but it was a mutual investment of time and energy that ended up paying off. But yeah, you have to trust people, like to give them that time to figure out what they're about. But it was pretty evident seeing you. See, I knew you was gonna win no matter if I was in the picture or not. So I figured if I could give you whatever experience I had, that was just gonna make your win maybe faster. But
Yep.
your methodology and people can learn from this. Like so, the biggest thing I see from Dante, right? He's a successful entrepreneur. If you guys want to learn something and pattern after this gentleman that's on the live stream with me, the biggest thing that I saw from him that I knew he was going to be a successful entrepreneur was he was willing to put his money where his mouth was, and he was willing to put in the time and the effort to try things. And he kept trying things, And I knew people like that keep trying things, eventually they get something that works because they don't quit and they keep trying. So I saw that in him immediately. I was like, he's going to be successful. It's just a matter of time. So whatever I give him, I'm just going to try to help him get there quicker to give him whatever I can give him because he's going to be successful. So if you guys want to learn something like big, like that's one of the biggest things that I saw in his work ethic and his success being an entrepreneur was that he was willing to try things and wasn't like going to give up if they didn't work.
And you know, I get that's the same. It's funny, man, because if you say you saw that in me 20 years ago, that's the same person I am today. And that's also the number one piece of advice that I give to people. I tell people that business is like a science. Science is really nothing but making educated guesses and running experiments to see if they work. So I don't think you should be like frivolous with your ideas and just like try anything that comes to mind. But like when you have an idea that comes to your mind, do some research, invest some time in it. Once you feel like, okay, this has a chance, then you can go for it. But just understand, like you might have to do that 20 times before you hit the jackpot. But when you hit the jackpot, it's going to be a big jackpot, and it's going to pay for everything else that you didn't work out. And yeah, that's been part of my methodology from day one. And people don't understand that because and this is the thing about me and Will. We both to this day still start new businesses and run experiments on different stuff. Like how long ago did you start your real estate course?
About I launched it about a year ago.
Yeah, so and you made 30 G's from that already. So that was a new business.
34, son. Get straight.
34 G's. So think about that. We've been in business 20 years. A year ago, he just launched a new business, made 34 G's from it. But that wasn't guaranteed. He could have launched that business and not made a dime from it. He could have launched that business and lost a couple of G's from it. That wasn't guaranteed, but how you gonna know that you don't try? But see, we've been doing this long enough. We're a little bit more seasoned, and we understand what ideas are more realistic and what ideas are not. Like for me, I'm all over this pandemic that's going on. I've already made myself up for negotiating deals out of China. I've been to China 7 times. I made tons of contact when I was there. I used to have a toy line. I still have it. I still design toys and manufacture toys, but toys aren't that big anymore. But I connected with a lot of suppliers out there. And guess what they're doing right now? They're making hospital supplies. They're making hand sanitizer. They're making face masks. So just last week alone, I decided I want to be a broker. I'm going to start connecting entrepreneurs who want to do business in China with the right supplier. I'll make the connection for free. The supplier gives me a commission. I just brokered 30,000 deals last week alone.
Did you see his comment say you need to get a better mic for your business? You need to get a better camera mic.
I don't do videos on YouTube.
He doesn't do YouTube, and he's in Mexico, so it's
come on, son. I got that Mexico right now. I ain't on 5G.
Hey y'all, so we got a question. So everybody do me a favor and hit the thumbs up for me. Hit that real quick, and then we're gonna answer some questions. So Rich Shiro, which is my realtor here in Columbus, he asked a question about a business concept of developing hyper-local information for different neighborhoods, starting with the local real estate and expanding the local businesses or business owners, employment, restaurants, but hyper-local. What do you think about this concept that my realtor has about like developing hyper-local information so that when people are searching for information on a local area, that they get this breadth of information for that local area?
I mean, it makes sense to me. It makes sense. It's worth a shot. It's not something frivolous.
Right. That's what I was going to say.
Than I do though.
So, like, I think if you think it's a good idea, it probably is a good idea. The biggest challenge though that I see with entrepreneurs is taking a good idea and then turning it into a reality, especially if it has like parts of it that are very difficult to implement to bring that into reality. So what you have to do is you have to break it down. You have to keep the end game like picture of the idea. You have to keep that in place. And usually the best thing to do is write it down and visualize it, right? And then you got to go backwards down to breaking it down to the most simple part that you can start with. And then start it with that simple like product or service, the most simple one, and then get started and then build on top of that. Because if you look at the end game and it looks insurmountable or it has a lot of different hurdles to it, then you might not ever even get started on the very first part. So my biggest advice would be figure out a way to attack it in parts that are doable, you know, in time frames that are doable. Because I don't know, Dante, I know you've seen this too. All of these, there's a lot of people that we come in contact with that want to be entrepreneurs, right? They see us, they're like, you guys are successful entrepreneurs. I want to have my own business, I want to have my own real estate portfolio and all these different things. But you have to start somewhere. Like you can't have, you just can't think you got a good idea and think that's gonna be enough. Having a good idea is far from enough. Like how many people probably had the idea for a smartphone? And how many people actually went out and did it?
I give you a perfect example. When smartphone first came out and they started developing app stores and they were inviting people to develop apps, everybody and their grandmother was talking about, I'm gonna develop an app. And people that I knew, friends, family members, none of them that said that they were going to develop an app actually developed an app. Like it was just none, not one that I, none of them. And so I've seen that before. But you know, another tip I got for him though, think for me, when it comes to an idea or a product, whether it's a product or service, whatever it's going to be, think about how you are going to market that. Like you really have to have a clear idea of how you plan on putting that. If you don't have a clear and detailed plan about marketing it, or you're still confused about how you're going to market it, and that might not be a good idea. So make sure you work on that. Like look at how, because that is, you can have the best product in the world, but if you don't know how to convey message of promotion to other people in an effective way so that they buy it, then it's nothing. It's nothing. Now, it could be just as simple as Facebook ads and Google ads, which a lot of people do, and it works. But there's other stuff that may not work, that may not qualify. Some people, man, they have this mindset. You've seen this before, Will, right? People that got the mindset that all you got to do is create the product and then the rest is automatically happen.
It's got big time marketing. Big time marketing. Like if you name like for my different businesses, if you can think of a different way to market something, we have probably done it. All different types of marketing. I mean, really really sometimes marketing is your best weapon, even more so than having the best product. If you got the best marketing, not necessarily the best product, you could win.
That's true. Think about McDonald's. Think about McDonald's. They don't sell the best hamburgers. They sell the most hamburgers. Why? Marketing. Yeah, that's it. And that's when you met, man. Like, I met you because I was calling your company to advertise what I was doing. So like that's your connection. You definitely got to invest. And it's another thing. Like sometimes people do know how to market, but they don't want to invest the funds for marketing. And my response to that is all simple. If you think about it, there are hundreds of well-known brands, right? Like McDonald's. Think about airlines like American Airlines. Think about hotels like Marriott. Everybody already knows about these brands. Even like Disneyland, right? Everybody knows about these brands. They've heard of them before, but yet every single one of those companies that I just mentioned still spend hundreds of millions of dollars a year on ads because they realize that you have to do that. You are at all times competing with other brands. You are at all times competing where some money is going to be spent. So if those big brands are doing that and they're already that well known, then imagine how you, as somebody who's just getting started with your small idea, imagine how much more involved you should be in marketing. But I have literally met people who don't even want to invest $100 a month into advertising, whatever it is selling. And that right there is like, that's like, what's this? What's this? Oh, this is how much you spend on ads. This is good.
So this is just to your point. When people talk about marketing, in order to make money, you got to spend money. So this is just to show people, this is how much money I spend on ads on Google, just for one of my businesses.
Well, this is from 2020.
Yep.
I spend way more on advertising, guys. For real.
But I spend $100K. I spend double that if I put some of my other businesses in here, but I didn't want to put all that in there. Okay. But I spent about 200,000 on advertising just on Google.
Just Google. On Google. Do you also do ads, right?
What'd you say?
You also do Facebook ads, right?
I also do Facebook, and it's up there. Like, I'll bring it up. But go ahead, continue what you were saying.
Yeah, it's just that. That's it, bro. You have to spend money on ads. Here's how you think about it. If you spent, like, you might not have $100,000 or $50,000 initially, but let's just say you have $500. Your goal in spending $500 should be to at least minimum just double that. So if you spent $500 and you made $1,000, then you got $500 profit. But really, there's ways after you experiment and you recognize certain trends and recognize like how certain ads work, you'll realize that you can spend $500 and make $5,000. But you got to take the risk, and sometimes you take a loss. You know what I'm saying? It's not guaranteed, and it does involve a little bit of patience. In fact, a lot of patience. But yeah, I advertise. I can tell you right now, on Google, I probably spend about $2,000 to $3,000 a month advertising, and on Facebook, probably a little bit less, maybe about $1,500 a month advertising. And
how much total you think you spent?
That's what I'm trying to think. Besides Facebook and Google, what other advertising do I do right now?
So this is my Facebook right here. Look.
Woo.
Almost 100 G's.
Yeah, now you're getting up there.
So, like, it takes money to make money. So, like, I don't have, like, I don't look at, but I don't even look at this kind of thing. Like, I've probably seen these numbers once a year or once every couple of years, because I'm not looking like how much, I'm not measuring it based on, I'm gonna spend $100,000 on Facebook ads. I'm measuring it based on a campaign at a time. So what am I trying to market? How much is that, the results that I want, how much is that worth to me? That's usually what the budget is gonna determine how much money I spend on that particular campaign. But like, I just show this for people to see, like, it's not one dimensional. Like, entrepreneurship is not one dimensional. What Dante is saying about marketing is serious. Like, we spend a lot of money, and then if you see the budget, this is just a marketing budget. You look at the budget that you spend on people or like the last 20 years, it's way dwarfs the marketing. Way dwarfs the marketing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, something about YouTube ads. That's the same thing. Yeah, you would spend, if you got 2 videos, you should definitely be spending money on YouTube ads. And then somebody else asked this question. He said, why, wait a minute, hold on. He said, why willingly videos that will be demonetized? You can operate business and still inform people. I'll let you answer that, but I got an answer for that too.
Because to be honest with you, I don't do business. Dante is better than me at monetizing stuff. I don't do business. I've always done business to first provide value, and then the money will just come. The opportunity to make money will come later, and it's not my first priority. It's usually like third or fourth, or second, third, fourth, or fifth, or somewhere down the line is my priority for making money on things, right? I don't have employees for my YouTube channel. I have like half of employee for I have a lot of contractors for my real estate business. But for my primary business, I have employees and I have team members that I have to pay consistently, and I don't ever want to not be able to pay them. So I have to focus a little bit more on generating revenue when I have to pay people's paycheck. But YouTube is not like, I don't depend on YouTube revenue. So when I make a video, my primary thing is to get a message out. The secondary thing is to make sure it's decent quality and interesting. And then later on down, money, I don't even think about money when I make a YouTube video. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't think about making money.
I totally understand everything you're saying. Like, you don't have to put a price tag on every single thing that you're doing. Like, as long as you're building towards your brand and your platform, then that's good. You can think of, like, I remember, and a lot of artists do this, right? A lot of music do this, but I remember specifically hearing an interview with the members of Maroon 5. This was way back when they first got started, and they were talking about Maroon 5.
Was that like a music group or something?
You don't know Maroon 5?
I don't listen to all that alternative.
They're big. It's a big deal. But do you know they used to do free concerts? That's how they got big. They started out doing concerts for free. They went around, they did tour, they invested their own money doing free concerts. All they wanted people to do was hear their music. All they wanted people to do was invest a little bit in what they had to give. And it worked out for them. And the money came later. Same thing for me. I do videos, but I don't do videos on YouTube. I do videos on Facebook. If you know anything about making videos on Facebook, you know you're not gonna make money from it. But by me doing a video, sharing valuable information with people, people identify me as an authority. And they say, okay, Dante knows what he's talking about. And then when it comes to the business services that I offer, I basically have built up like I got a Grammy, you know, it's like I got that Grammy feel for it. Like they know that they can come to me and trust me because they see my information.
Yeah, actually, it means more to me than the money that I made. Not to an extent. Like, yeah. A lot of people do YouTube because they want to get one of these plaques and they want to get 100,000 subscribers. But for me, I want to get maximum, like really and truly, like my like the biggest thing that I could get with YouTube is to amass an engaged audience. Because once you have an engaged audience, you have influence, then you can do all kind of stuff for good.
Yeah, that's a key word there.
Influence and an engaged audience. So like, for example, one thing might be, hey, I need to make some money. So let me come up with an offer that you guys might be interested in. And then I'll bring it to you guys and I'll make some money off of that by bringing it to you guys. And hopefully it'll add value, right? Maybe I'll give you a discount or something like that. But the bigger thing is like the influence that you can have, like when you're giving back to people and you actually can help change people's lives. Because that comes back, man. That stuff comes back. What you put out comes back. So if you put out good and good vibes and you just try to do right by people, then that is usually what comes back. But if I was like out here just trying to make money off of YouTube, I probably wouldn't even have I wouldn't have 100,000 subscribers probably. I wouldn't be even making that much money on YouTube ad revenue or my online course. I probably wouldn't, because I would be too short-sighted because I would be thinking about the money. So instead in business, you focus on providing a good, valuable service to people. And then everything else will fall into place. You'll have opportunities in the future. So what I really want out of YouTube is to amass an engaged audience where I can assert my influence and positivity. And then the money will just show.
Yeah, you can always come back and monetize that later. Like followers, your influence will still be there. Those followers will still be there. You can come back and monetize that at a different time. What's that? What's Goon Squad?
Actually, this channel right here, Goon Squad, is responsible for sending me more subscribers than any other one thing, Goon Squad. So a big part of me having this plaque right here is through collaborating with that YouTube channel, Goon Squad, one of my favorite YouTube channels. Yeah, we're live right now. Influencer, you got the influencer Dante, the revenue Dr. Lee on my live stream where we're talking about how much money I make on YouTube, which I got into real early in the video. In case you guys missed it, how much revenue do I make on YouTube? In the last 3 years, I made roughly $30,000 on YouTube. In the last 12 months, I made 14,000 of that in the last 12 months. But what I was trying to show people is that I don't really do YouTube for money.
One of his properties.
Right, one property could gross more than that. To be honest, 14,000 in YouTube revenue over the last 12 months is not, like, if you look at the expenses on some of the things that I do on my YouTube channel with the cars, will be way more than that 14,000. You know what I'm saying? So it's more about like giving back, like figuring out a way to share information and have influence, and it's a certain influence on the world. Like, and I feel like I have a lot of positive information to share, a lot of good information to share, a lot of positive energy, and I want to see that maximized. That's the big thing,
bro. So, here's something that you could say. Not saying that you got plans to do this, but let's say you wanted to do this. You already would be well positioned for it. Let's just say in the future you wanted to own your own Lamborghini dealership.
The revenue doctor's talking.
I'm just saying. Let's just say, and you can do that, by the way, you guys. It's like a franchise. If you wanted to be a Lamborghini dealer, you can do that. So let's just say Will wanted to do that in the future. Now do all those free videos he's been doing make sense? Now does all that audience that he just built make sense? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's already well positioned for that. So that's what it is about. Sometimes you are doing things free, and then sometimes it's not always a price tag on everything. But as long as you keep yourself visible and relevant, that's the key. Keep yourself visible and relevant, then you're doing the right thing. And here's something else I want to comment on. Okay, we all see the economy has changed, right? In the last weeks, and it changed very rapidly. This is a perfect example of why you should diversify your portfolio. So Will's got his hand in YouTube, he's got his hand in online courses, he got his hand in real estate, and he's got his bread and butter in the online platform that he built, in the recruiting platform that he built. So think about that. He's got 4 different industries going on that he can monetize. One gets slow, which can happen in a recession. The other 3 are still going. Let's say 2 of them get slow, the other 2 are still going. And I recommend all entrepreneurs do that. I do the same thing. I told you guys before, I make toys. That ain't my bread and butter. My bread and butter is, thank God, because kids don't play with toys no more. But I told you guys earlier, I wrote 26 books. Guess what? Book sales ain't kicking like it used to either. When I wrote a book, man, I was one of the first young authors to write a book. When I wrote my first book, I was like 19 or 20 years old. At that time, that was like a big deal. That was unheard of. I got a lot of media attention for that. I went on to write 25 more books. But now the book market is saturated. But I'm not worried about that because I got other stuff going on. I got websites. I got web revenue coming in. I just told you guys I just launched my Chinese Connect. I'm connecting people with China, people that want to do business in China. So you just gotta. What's up?
This is a question right here. How do you guys get over the fact that friends and family see you on video? This is actually a really good question for me, because I'm more comfortable talking about certain stuff to people that don't really know me personally. I'm more comfortable talking about showing Lamborghinis and stuff like that. But like, if you looked at my personal Facebook page where people that really know me personally, I don't have none of that stuff on my personal Facebook, because they know me. They know my history. They know when I was poor. You know what I'm saying? They see me growing up. So for me to be like, yo, I got the Lambos and stuff now, they know there's too much of a chance that it doesn't look right. Whereas if you don't know me and you just see this random guy on the internet and he's talking about real estate and he's talking about Lambos because he has a Lambo hobby and he shares it and that kind of thing, but you don't really know me, like it's easier for me to feel comfortable sharing that because you just jumped in on this part of my life at this point and I'm trying to give back some value. But for the people that know me, man, like I don't like if you look at my personal Facebook page, there's not no Lambo stuff. I mean, very little. Like what it might have been like a glimpse on the side, but there's not like not a lot of. I don't think there's any of that. And if there is, it's by accident.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, it's not like your take on things is to brag about it. You're trying to help people. So I don't have a problem with family and friends watching videos. I mean, I don't do nowhere near as many videos as you doing.
But see, the other thing is like when people see you out and about. You know what I'm saying? Like the conversation can be a little bit weird. Like, I remember I was at the gas station and somebody saw me at the gas station. Then he looked around the gas pump to see what I was driving, and I was driving the Corolla. He was looking kind of like, yo. He kind of shook his head and walked into the thing like I must have hit hard times. You know what I'm saying? Like I know he was thinking because you know, like he knows me. Like we played basketball on the high school basketball team together. So
okay.
I'd rather not people even be thinking about that. I'd rather people be looking at me like the same old dude from before that do all right. You know, I do all right, but not much because they know me from back.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think we're pretty humble. And like I said, when you're sharing, anytime you're sharing information for free and you're helping people and giving back, then you're going to win. Who is I, Mr. Moss? Is that Danny or Lauren?
Danny.
What's up, Danny?
Yeah, I'm looking at my Facebook page right now. I don't have any Lambo content from posted by me on there.
Yeah.
The only stuff that's on there is people tagging me in events, but I don't have none of that stuff.
Think about what you said earlier about how you came up with that idea for that first Lambo video. You were trying to break into YouTube. You were trying to figure out how can I cover this topic in a way that nobody else has yet. So it's not like you're about bragging, showing people what you got, what you don't have, what they not have, but you're literally trying to educate people. Look, hey son, why we not friends on that page? I've never seen this page before.
Yeah, right. Like this is some stuff people tag me in, like right there, and it ain't even my stuff. But like that, I'm not comfortable with that. You know, I to be honest, like I was pretty much been shy my whole life. You know, I kind of grew into doing what I had to do when it came to my first job. You know, but I used to be super deathly shy.
I like what Chris Hollins just said. He said, for the most part, it's really nobody's business. For me, people don't need full personal information. Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way. I don't really, even like with my friends and stuff, like if they're not an asset in any way when it comes to business, then I really don't talk about business to them, you know? Like we can ship totally outside of my business affairs. I have nothing to do with that.
All right, so we ain't gonna drag this out too long, but I just wanted to jump on a live stream. I hope everybody is healthy. I hope everybody is taking this Corona thing seriously because it is serious. I'm not sure, but I think I might have had it for the last 3 weeks or so. I just now started feeling better.
3 weeks for real? You've been sick for 3 weeks?
Yeah, bro. I was getting a fever. I had the dry cough. I had.
What about shortness of breath?
Respiratory thing going on, and I don't never really get like that. Yeah, bro. I don't never get fevers. I had a fever probably twice in my life, but I know what it feels like when your temperature starts rising up. So I started getting that. So you know, like I started taking this thing like real serious, like, and I hope everybody else is too. Like my brother, D Moss, he felt like he had something worse than me. for a while, and I know a couple other people, and I know like one of my friends from high school, his dad traveled back from Mexico, and on the connection in Minneapolis before he got to Ohio, he felt sick. They took him to the hospital. 3 days later, he was dead with corona.
Whoa.
Yeah, one of my dudes I ran track with when I ran track with him in high school. So it's like a real dude. And who else? My brother's secretary, my oldest brother, his secretary got it. And within 3 days, she was in ICU in a coma with coronavirus.
Did she recover?
He was too afraid to call back, because she was in a coma. So it was like she was on life support with coronavirus. Wow. So I start, I'm taking it serious, but how close, like how it's here, like it's in our communities. So I'm taking it serious, but everybody be safe out there. And any last questions before we hop off?
Let me say this, man. Thank you, first of all, for bringing me on. Appreciate it. It's a privilege to me to be able to share valuable information that has helped me stay relevant over the last 20 years. I'm not on YouTube. You guys can follow me on Facebook, though. Facebook.com/Dante Lee, DanteLee. And I do share more. I share a lot, actually, daily. I share news, tips, advice, and all of it is related to business. Every now and then I'll post a video and give out some information as well. But yeah, you got
question out.
Peace.
You see the question on the screen?
How do you break the poor mentality? I don't even know if I understand what the poor mentality is. What does that mean?
And you know what it is, like with people, I'll tell you what the poor mentality is. Because I see too many people do this, and I shake my head a little bit, especially if it's like some people I know. They think that it's almost like, for example, if you take somebody who's super rich like Bill Gates, they automatically think Bill Gates is doing some criminal activity and he's a bad person because he's super rich. And so they have this mentality that really, really rich people are bad. And so what that subliminally does is it makes people not allow themselves to get rich or to get wealthy, because they think that really, really rich people are bad people, or like the root of all evil. That's a poor mentality. Money is not all evil. Money is a tool. If you give me a hammer and you give somebody else a hammer, I might take the hammer and start building a house. Somebody else might take the hammer and whack somebody over the head with it and take their money out the pocket, right? So it's not the hammer that's the root of all evil. It's the person and like what their mentality is, right? So it's not the money that's the root of all evil. It's somebody's mentality that gets a hold of it and how they choose to use it. So this mentality, how do you break that poor mentality? So for me, it was seeing people that are poor and how they think. Then look at people who are not poor and how they think, how they apply themselves, how they walk and talk, what is their mentality and their mind frame. And then you look at some really poor people and look at how they think and what is their mentality and their mind frame. The way you break it is you don't have the same mentality or the same mind frame that poor people tend to have. And you try to adopt the mind frame and the actions of people that are getting ahead and people that are rich, healthy, and wealthy, and applying some of those things that they do, apply that to your own life, but not to be thinking that anybody that's doing good had to be doing something wrong.
Yeah, and like it's okay. You could kind of take this, right? When the coronavirus came out, right? There were a lot of myths and rumors about it, and still are, right? There's a lot of conspiracy theories and stuff out there, right? We're gonna get into it, but the point is, when it comes to anything, even business, just do your research, man. Like it sounds cheesy, but I say this all the time: readers are leaders. Like I have always been big on reading books, magazines, blogs, and also even listening to podcasts, watching YouTubes like this one, right? Where you can just pick up a gem or two. And that is that will keep you away from the poor mentality, because you're speaking to the experts, the people who have the facts, and you're getting the information for what it is, not some conspiracy theorist is trying to do. And then, like, I know a lot of family members can hold you back, right? Because, like, let's say you're really just breaking out as an entrepreneur. Probably your worst enemy is going to be your family member, right? They got good intentions, but they might be saying some negative stuff, and they may not believe in you or may not support you like you would like them to. But if you've done your homework and your education, you're educating yourself on the topic and the idea that you want to pursue, then yeah, just pursue it. Break free from that mentality and just go for what you need to go for. Because I've been through all of that, and I've been happy to prove people wrong every time. But again, it comes from being scholarly. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just wing it. You gotta. There is some hard work involved and research involved in pursuing any type of business. And the first thing you should do if you're going to do research is research your competition. Like,
yeah, always.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people start businesses, and maybe sometimes they'll come to me and ask me for questions as they're getting started. And my first question is like, well, what's your marketing plan? Okay, second question, who's your competition? And like, it's too often they don't even have answers to both of those questions. So that's how I would break the poor mentality, just researching. And I'm still like that today. Like, if you look on my desk, which you guys can't see right now, I got books stacked up. I got magazines stacked up.
I ain't gonna lie. I ain't never been big on books. I ain't gonna lie. But I do listen to audiobooks, and I do my research online, and I find
Books.
I jump into I do audiobooks, but if you give me a book and let me start reading it, I'm gonna be asleep.
You know what? I'm glad you said that, because some people don't like reading books. That's fine. You can listen to it.
Yeah, I listen to books.
Listen to it.
And I've read what I had to. Like, I read probably the only autobiographies was Bill Gates and Tony Dorsett, Dallas Cowboys. And my number one client right now, call it, what is it? What do they call it? The secret. What do they call it?
Yeah.
It's funny. The only book I ever read was, other than the Tony Dorsett Dallas Cowboy book, was the autobiography of Bill Gates. And I learned about Bill Gates and kind of what made him successful starting Microsoft. And who is my number one client right now that we in the pandemic?
Microsoft.
Microsoft is my number one client of all time for my business. They like floating me very well through this recession and everything that's going on. But anyway, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You know what? Speaking on that, before you change the topic, biographies are excellent to read, because you get all the details. Like, usually autobiographies are all tales. Like, the people you just mentioned, they tell you everything they went through, and it makes you feel more human because you get to learn about their mistakes. Somebody said I only read books that have pictures. All right. But no, I read Sam Walton's autobiography. That's the guy who founded Walmart. And that was, man, I learned a lot from that book. A lot. Like, that dude, okay, just to give you guys one little gem that I learned from.
About who?
Sam Walton, the guy who founded Walmart. He's dead now, though.
Okay.
He talks about his book, and I read his book more than 10 years ago, by the way, but I still remember this. So this is how impactful a book can be. Remember that back in the 60s, the biggest department store in the United States was Kmart.
Okay.
Sam started Walmart in the 70s. He used to go up and down the aisles through Kmart, studying what they were doing, understanding the retail industry.
That sounds like something.
Literally. What'd you say? Sounds like what?
You would do.
Yep. But it was just interesting to hear him talking about that. And then he talks about how he built Walmart. He started out with one store. They used to sell underwear and socks in Arkansas. And he slowly built it out to be, and now Walmart is the number one department store, not just in the United States, but in the world. I live in Mexico. They have Walmart here. India has Walmart. Walmart is also the #1 employer in the United States. They have more than 1 million employees. And where's
number 2
right
client? And guess who's my number 2 client?
Walmart? Walmart's your #2 client?
Nah, Amazon.
Oh. Oh, okay.
And Walmart problems.
Walmart is a client of mine, though. I've worked with Walmart a little bit, but the point is, where's Kmart at right now? You know what I'm saying? Like they're still around, but I know they filed bankruptcy at least twice in the last 10 years, and then they tried to merge with Sears. That didn't work out.
Okay, look at this comment. This comment from Red Sox fan. So actually, Bill Gates was given a tremendous advantage as he had 24-hour access to computers. PhD college students did not have. Bro, what's your advantage? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, if you look at Bill Gates and we're talking about how successful Bill Gates is, and then you say he had an advantage, what's your advantage? All of us have some kind of something. Because if you don't think you have some advantage, look at the fact, like if you take the poorest person in the United States on this live stream right now, they still have an advantage because there's somebody that's being born in the desert of Africa someplace or in India in total poverty, and they would do anything to trade places with to be born in the United States to have the opportunity and advantage that we have. So you can never you could take Bill Gates and take Bill Gates' sister or brother. They didn't have the same success that he had, but they still had the same advantages that he had. He had to go out. He had to go out and do his thing. So like, no matter what, man, like that's part of that mentality thing. Like you gotta always look at the glass as half full and not half empty in general. And I'm not trying to pick on you for your comment, but I'm just saying, like a lot of people would say Bill Gates is bad. And I'm like, yo, you know how many, or Bill Gates, some people might even say Bill Gates is racist or something like that. Bill Gates, a lot of people were saying Bill Gates he knew about the coronavirus. Like it's just partly his fault. Man, this dude was trying to save people from anything like the coronavirus. And somehow that got twisted into him being like down with the people that released the coronavirus to kill people. And while he's trying to do the whole opposite, if you really look at it. So and then I could go into a lot of this stuff, but you know, let's cut this one short, and then Dante, let's get you back on here and we'll pick a different topic on entrepreneurship to discuss. How about that?
Anytime, bro. I'm here for you and your audience and your followers. Appreciate you guys for listening to us. Hope we inspired you guys. Hope we shared something that'll stick with you for the rest of your life and spark the next big thing.
Hey, thank you guys for this right here. Thank you guys for subscribing to my channel. I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Would not be possible without you guys coming here with me and you know, making this stuff happen. So appreciate it. It's your boy Will Motivation. Hey, peace, Mike G. I see you. D Meezy, I see you. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all. And Dante, we'll get up. Maybe we'll do this again the next couple of days.
For sure, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Now, how do I stop this?